said, why not? He's like, dude, you're telling us they want us to be all innocent and pure, but they're going to dress like that at our dances? They're going to dance like that at our dances? You're telling me she wants me to treat her like a princess? They're going to act like that every weekend? He said, we don't take them seriously. They don't take themselves seriously. And I'll grant you, girls, it's probably hard to find modest outfits in the mall. You go to buy your prom dress, everything they sell you today is low cut and some cleavage and some slit up to your armpit, it's not easy, but you're not helpless. And girls think, but Jason, I mean, if you can't be sexy, how do you get a boy's attention? Can we flirt with them? Flirting depends. It means different stuff. Like flirting for me, when I was in second grade, if I liked a girl, throw a rock at her. She's hot. I'm here watching, like popping, like, yeah. Now she likes me. Yeah, she has a concussion. That's her problem. Now, I'm working on it. Now, girls are different. Girls flirt like this. When you girls were in like fourth grade, this is how you'd flirt with a guy. Don't even act like you did. In fourth grade, you'd see the cute guy, and you'd be like, oh, he's so cute. And you get in a huddle with your girlfriends, like, he's so cute, what should we do? And your friend's like, I know, let's give him a note. Oh, that's brilliant, get out the paper. Rip out some paper, get your sparkly glitter pens. It's like, do you like my friend Trixie? Yes, no, or maybe. It's like a survey, gotta check the box, yes, no, or maybe, and you jump into the relationship. Then what happens? Girls get like sixth grade, then you start getting like sophisticated with flirting. Sixth grade, you'd see the cute guy. Oh, he's so cute. You get in the huddle, he's cute, what should we do? Friend's like, I know, how about when he's leaving class, I'll shove you into him. Oh, that's good, shove me into him. Yeah. Some of you apparently still doing this, but juniors. But you guys see the girls hitting each other laughing? Reason girls think they're so funny. This is what girls talk about when they go to public bathrooms, like 30 of them at a time into the bathroom. You seen that? They have couches in there sometimes? No kidding. They got like drawing boards. You shove them into this locker, all come around the back. It's like sick and wrong, but they do it. Then what happens? Girl gets, 8th grade high school. Basically, as soon as you become a woman, the world will tell you, ladies, look, now that you become a woman, you got something the boys like now, better than those old notes getting shoved into you. You got that body. You can give it to the guy who's going to like you more. Girls always, they begin with this idea. Okay, let me get this straight. So long as I'm technically not having sex with him, I'm being good. So hooking up and making out, not a big deal. Doing this with a guy, it's not a big deal. Doing that with a guy, well, as long as I love him, it's not a big deal. Why not? Yeah, why is this not even a big deal to me anymore? Oh, yeah, it's because those other girls I know, they're so much worse than I am. And by the time it's all said and done, the girl convinces herself the priceless gift of her body, it's not a big deal. Something starts to die in the girl. She might go from boy to boy to boy. She never sits still. She gets to college. She has no idea who she is. She defined her whole identity by the boys she's clinging to. She's so afraid of being alone, she'll settle for just about anything. And she's so busy trying to find a boy, she loses herself in the process. And I'll tell you, she thinks she's in love with him. I'm sorry, man, she's probably in love with the fact that he wants her when she doesn't even want herself half the time. But she's so afraid being alone, hooking up, friends with benefits, she'll settle for stuff. But something dies in her. I read about a guy sleeping, his dog starts barking, guy came in the backyard, his dog's barking at a bush. And the guy's like, it's a bush, shut up, go to bed. He goes to sleep, dog starts barking 2:30 in the morning. Guy came in the backyard with a stick, come here, Pooch, smack, beat the dog into submission, back to sleep. 2:45, the dog starts freaking out. The guy threw a fit, cocked the gun. I don't know if he was drunk, but apparently he shot and killed the dog in the backyard and went peacefully to sleep. But then what happened is the robber who was hiding in the bushes got out of the bushes, walked over the body of the dead dog, came inside the guy's house, apparently killed him in his sleep, and robbed everything that he owned. And that dog is like our conscience that tells us right from wrong. And I've said to my conscience, dude, shut up. Don't tell me I should be looking at that. Don't tell me I should be doing that. Dude, shut up. I'd kill the boys and do it anyway and think I'm free. I'm not doing my mom wants. I'm free. But I always think afterwards, yeah, you're so free. You can't even say no to it anymore. You're so free. How come you're empty after? You're so free. How come you can't look her dad in the eyes whenever you go over that house? That's your freedom. And it leads to the point where a girl will think, Jason, look, you got cute stories, but you don't get it. Look, Jason, I'm not a virgin. Or Jason, I had my virginity taken from me. Or Jason, something bad happened to me when I was a little girl. Now, what good guy, like you're all talking about, as if I know any, would even want a girl like me? Been through what I've been through? Jason, look, I'm damaged goods. It's too late, and once it's gone, it's gone. Well, the beauty of chastity is it doesn't matter what's happened in the past, because anybody can start over and help prove that to you, having come with me as my bride, Kristalina. So please give her a warm welcome. Come on up, hon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, now I'm coming from a completely different angle than Jason here. When I was about a sophomore in high school, I had my first serious relationship. And after a while of dating, we thought we were in love and everything was great. And slowly, we started to get very physical. And slowly, the pressure started to set into the relationship. And it came to a point where he said, well, girl, if you really love me, if you truly love me, you'd prove it to me. You'd show me just how much you love me. So I needed advice. So I went to my girlfriends and I said, well, he kind of wants to do this with me and he wants to do that. And they said, well, if you aren't doing this with him, if you aren't doing that with him, I mean, well, what's wrong with you? Everybody's doing it. You love him, right? And I thought, well, yeah, I love him. So at the age of 15, I lost my virginity thinking it was going to cause this huge, great emotional bond between us and we'd be on cloud nine and so in love. And in all actuality, eventually any love we had in that relationship was just thrown out the window. Because if I couldn't respect my own body, how's he supposed to respect it? And after a while of dating, it seemed like he didn't want to spend time with me anymore. He was basically spending the time with my body. And when a person is being used, they know it. They know it in the depths of their heart. They may deny it, they may ignore it, and I know it. And after a while, we were constantly fighting. He was cheating on me, and we went our separate ways. Now, I will never forget the day when he walked away from me for the very last time. And as he walked away from me, all I could think about was that guy's taking something with him that never belonged to him in the first place. But I can't get it back, right? What's the point? It's already gone. So there I was in the cafeteria talking with my girlfriends. And I came to this conclusion, okay, well, if a guy can date me for about 6 months without sleeping with me, then he must love me. Then I'll sleep with him. And I think now 6 months is the price that I put on my body. If he gives me just a little bit of that time and a little bit of that attention, that's the definition of love. And I carried this mentality all through high school. He was the first guy, but he wasn't the last. And I went down this vicious cycle. And I'm not standing up here pointing my finger at you guys, saying, you guys, you're the problem. It's all your fault. No. I happen to believe you guys will be as much of a gentleman as we ladies require. Now, I wasn't acting like a lady back then, nor dressing like a lady back then. Therefore, they didn't feel the need to rise up and act like a gentleman around me. And what seems to happen sometimes is that girls will give guys sex for the sake of getting the love from them. And guys will give girls the love for the sake of getting the sex from the girls. And it can go both ways. Now, with this lifestyle, I got into the partying, I got into the drinking, I got into the clubbing. You name it, I was into it. And granted, at the time, yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. It was very attractive. And I know what that's like. But I also know what it's like to wake up the next day when that party's over, when your friends are gone, and when you're there by yourself. And I remember waking up thinking, I can't believe I did that last night. I hope I don't have to see his face in the hallway at school on Monday. What if he tells everybody what we did? All of these things constantly going through my head. But the night before, my friends would always say, oh, it's all fun and games. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. But the next day, the fun and games were over. And I remember lying there one morning thinking to myself, what's not the big deal here? My body, my self-respect, my dignity? What's not the big deal? But I knew deep down it was. I knew deep down I was miserable, I wasn't happy, and I was just downright disgusted with myself and my life, but I just didn't know what to do. I thought what's done is done. Now, after a while of living this lifestyle, my mother had an idea of what was going on in my life. Most parents have an idea what's going on in your lives. As much as I thought I was fooling my mother, I was really fooling myself. And she came up to me and she said, Crystalina, there's a purity talk, and you're going to it. And I laughed in her face and said, I'm not going to some talk, thanks, but no thanks. She says, you're going if you like it or not. And I thought to myself, okay, I don't want to lose my car. I'll sit in the very back of the room for 15 minutes, and I'm out of there. I don't have time for this. I have a party to go to. I have friends to see. I don't have time. And in that 15 minutes that I thought I was going to sit there, my life was changed. There was a guy who was very honest, blunt, and real. He talked about all of the girls, all of the sex, all the pornography, everything that he had been into, he just laid it out. And I felt like this guy, he had grabbed my hand out of the audience and he walked through my life. Like he could see the things I was most ashamed of and hiding. And I thought, what's the difference? He's done the same exact things I've done. And I just watched him. And he had this peace and this joy and this confidence that he carried about himself that I didn't see that in my friends. I didn't see that in the places I went to, and I definitely didn't see that in the guys I was dating. But he had one quality above all of them that I wanted more than anything, and it's that he wasn't ashamed of himself. I sat in my seat trying to figure out one day, just one, a single day of just true peace and joy, not worried what I had done prior that night, prior that weekend, prior that month, always worried, but never any peace. And I realized in that moment, I needed to get my standards out of the gutter and raise them as high as I possibly could and start respecting my body for once. And that night, I went home and I wrote down every single thing that I had done. Wow, which was a lot, and it was really overwhelming. But then I wrote down everything this guy had said to me, and I put it in an envelope, and I hid it in my bedroom because I knew that weekend that temptation was going to be there. And sure enough, that weekend, there were those guys, there were my friends, there were those parties, and I ran to that letter. And it was a very harsh reminder what was there waiting for me. And I didn't do it again. Instead, I wrote another letter, and every single time I was tempted to go back to that old lifestyle, I'd read my old letters and I would write a new one. So now I had this huge stack of letters of all of the no's that I said in my life. Now, Jason here waited 27 years for his future bride. I can't stand up here and say, on those Friday nights, on those weekends I was out partying with my friends, that I held myself back for love of him, because I didn't, and that's a lie. And I can stand up here and I can look in your eyes and your eyes and all of your eyes, but every day I look into those eyes, and it tears me up that I allowed someone to rob him of the gift that God meant solely for this man and no other. Now, even though I didn't have my virginity to give him, I did give him this huge stack of letters of all of the no's that I said for him, showing him I did start respecting my body. I did start loving him through my actions and waiting for him. Now, when I turned my life around, a lot of my friends thought it was some big joke, right? They were constantly making fun of me. What, are you a prude now? What, are you too good for us? What's your problem? And finally, I got sick of it, and I went home and I told someone what was going on. And the best advice they could give me was, oh, don't worry about it. Just ignore them. You're doing the right thing. Well, I tell you today, if anyone makes fun of you for living out a lifestyle of chastity, of purity, of respecting your body, and you get made fun of for that, you go home, you make a book of it, you write it all down. You remember it. Because when you stand in front of your bride or in front of your husband on your wedding day, you tell me, where is the laughter? Where is the mockery? Who will be making fun of you then? Nobody. There will be complete silence in that place on that day, and any of those people would pay $1 million to be in your shoes. And when you stand up there, you will say, I will honor you, and I will cherish you all the days of my life. Well, today's the day of my life, and today's the day of your life. So keep that in mind and take it to heart, because your life is going to be so much more than these 4 walls in this high school, and it goes way and far beyond this. For those of you in the audience that are virgins, I have the utmost respect for you. And don't ever be ashamed of it, but be proud of it, because I know plenty of people who would love to trade places with you, and I was one of them. And granted, I know you're not perfect, but hold on to that. Don't be ashamed of what you have. For those of you in the audience that aren't virgins, that have made past mistakes, I don't care who you are, where you've been, what you've done, or what has happened in your past, because frankly, it is never too late. After one of our talks, a girl comes up to me, and it turns out she had slept with 15 guys in the past 3 months. Now, you know the names her school had for her. That girl, she is a slut, and that's all she's ever going to be. And I asked her, I said, why are you doing this to yourself? She said, oh, it's fun. You go to parties, you hook up. It's fun. And I said, is it really fun? And for once, someone took this poor girl seriously. And she just looked at me with her eyes full of tears. And she says, it's not fun. She says, my parents are going through a divorce right now. The minute I walk into my home, there's nothing but hurt and hate. And just for the moment that those guys hold me, it feels like love. Even though I know it's not, at least I feel like somebody wants me. That girl's not a slut. She has a heart identical to yours and to mine. And ultimately, all that we want is love. So if it's too late for her to start over, well, then it was too late for me to start over. And frankly, it's not too late for anyone to start over. Now, how do you start over? How do you live this out? Well, I wrote a booklet called Pure Womanhood, and within the book, smack middle in the book, is what I like to call a dump 'em list. And this goes for guys and girls either way. It can go both ways. And if any of these apply to the person that you're dating, it just might be time to say bye-bye. First one, you have to tell them more than once to stop. You feel the need to fix them. They look at pornography. They hit you, push you, or do anything to frighten you. They get drunk and take drugs. They don't care if you lie to your family. They lead you away from God. They put you down and act like they're kidding. They cheat on you. They lie to you. They flirt with other people. They use guilt to get you to do what they want. They always resent the time you spend with your friends and family. They behave badly and then blame it on other people or things that happen to them. They're very controlling. They can't stand on their own 2 feet without you, and you can't stand on your own 2 feet and remain pure with them. These are not minor faults, but they are signs that can be disastrous to a future marriage. And a mother came up to me after our talk, and she said, please tell the teens about me. Because I was dating someone that had almost every single one of those qualities, but I thought our love was stronger. I thought he would change. I thought I could change him. She goes, and now 10 years later, after we married, he's worse than all of those, and we're in the middle of a divorce, and we have 3 children. She said, please tell them. Listen to the warnings. They're there for a reason. And if you have a hard time, and you know you're going to have a hard time getting away from that person, get what I like to call a breakup buddy. A breakup buddy is great. In those times when you want to look them up on Facebook, or you want to text them, or you want to call them, or you just want to go see them, call that person. Call that person to go with a movie on Friday night. Just get that good friend you know who wants what's best for you to help you get away from that person and go through like a good 2-week detox with them, so then that way you don't gravitate back to that person, because it can be done. And you deserve so much more. Know that you are worth so much more than that. In high school, I wasted so much of my time in these soap opera relationships. Dead end, and I was miserable, used, and disgusted with myself by the end of it. And I knew I wasted my time. So don't do that to yourself, because you are better. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you've been, what you've done. All that matters right now is where you go from here. Now, where do you go from here? Well, when I did turn my life around, it was really hard. Because on Sunday, you want to be that good church girl, and then on Friday night, you want to be this party girl. And in school, I was wearing all these different masks. I was happy one minute, and then the next minute, I'm finding out my boyfriend's cheating on me, and we're going through all this drama, and it was a mess. And one night, I was coming home from a party. I smelled like the party. I knew the things that were happening at the party. And I would always drive by this adoration chapel. And that one late night, for some reason, I turned in the parking lot. And I'm sitting in the parking lot, I'm freaking out, and I'm saying to myself, I need to go, I need to get in there. I need to just go and be in front of Jesus. And then on the other hand, I said, no, you can't go in there. He doesn't want you. He doesn't want to see you like this. And I looked like a crazy in the parking lot talking to myself. And then finally I got the gumption, and I went in the adoration chapel. I put my head down, completely ashamed. And I'm hoping the people that were there weren't smelling this party on me. And then finally, I got the courage to just look up at Jesus in the Eucharist. And I said, here I am, my God, in all of my filth. Please help me. And then I freaked out, and I ran out of there as fast as I could, saying, stupid, stupid, why did you go in there? What were you doing? But then now I look back on that moment in my life, and it was huge. Because I realized that God did not just want me when I was perfect. He wanted me in my ugliness. He wanted me in my mess, because he is the only one who could truly get me out of it. I tried so many times to start over because I wasn't happy living that way. I wasn't happy being a hypocrite. And I just didn't know what to do. And every time I promised myself and I made the resolution, I'm never going to do that again. It's never going to happen. I would fall flat on my face. But the time I did it with Jesus, the time I asked him for the grace, the time I went to confession, the time I really stuck with what I knew was right, it was with God. And if you want to live this out, know it doesn't matter where you're at in your life, that he accepts you. Maybe right now you're struggling with cutting. Maybe you have an eating disorder or you're looking at pornography. Maybe you have addiction, who knows what. Maybe you're just struggling in your relationships or you have a hard home life. Maybe you have same-sex attractions. It doesn't matter what is going on in your lives in this moment right now. Jesus will accept you where you are at and help you to overcome anything. And it doesn't matter, but you just have to go to him. Now, when I was going through really a hard time in my life and trying to figure everything out, I would go to adoration a lot and I was journaling. And I ended up writing this letter. And I realized, I felt like God was really talking to me in this letter because I had so much going on. But then once I kept reading it over and over, I realized this letter wasn't just for me. And I put it in this book that my husband and I wrote, How to Find Your Soulmate Without Losing Your Soul. And there's a couple things that were just really powerful that stuck out to me. Why do you always seek man's approval? Why are you always wondering, do I look pretty enough? Do I sound smart enough? With a shadow of insecurity hovering above you, you're always trying to keep others interested. Meanwhile, you give yourself away while ignoring your gut. Don't be controlled by the amount of attention, approval that you receive, and stop being ashamed of yourself. Your worth can't come from who you're with, what you wear, or what others think of you. Are you scared to admit your own self-worth? Do not shy from who you are out of fear of abandonment or negative opinions of others. You take scraps from the world, but I have given you everything that you need deep within you. At times you allow your insecurities to overpower you and your thoughts run wild. But with Jesus' love, you can control any vice, wickedness, or evil weapon that comes against you. It is time to rise up unafraid of who you are and embrace it. Do not lower yourself or hide, because the power of God's love and grace will always be there to catch you and show you the way. Deep down, know who you are and what you are supposed to do. Stop lowering yourself to the world and start rising to heaven. Even though it seems so far, it's truly all around you. You have a whole army of angels and saints wanting you to succeed in your battle, but the biggest battle of all will be with yourself. Know who you are and what you are not. You are a beloved daughter and son of Jesus, he who is God. Do not underestimate the power of your testimony to the world and the great things that God wants to do with your lives. And I want you to imagine for one moment right now that when I heard that guy get up and talk, imagine I said, that's cute, that's nice, but just not right now. I'm having too much fun. What if I said that? I know with all of my heart, I wouldn't have ended up marrying Jason. When he met me, he probably would have wanted to counsel me, not marry me. I know our 5 children and the one in heaven would never have come into existence. And I know I would not be standing here talking to you today if I didn't say that yes. I knew I could have gone in 2 separate directions, and the same thing goes for you right now. Like I said before, it doesn't matter who you are, where you've been, what you've done. It doesn't matter. You are not the sum of your mistakes, and it does not define your future. All that matters right now is where you go from here.
Now, as you can probably imagine how grateful I am for the day that she started waiting for me. And like she said, the whole family, all the beautiful kids we have right now, it's all there because of that yes she said back to God. And when we, with kids, when we first found out that we were pregnant, specifically her, you go to Doctors get you a little ultrasound, get to see a little dude on the TV screen. And the first one, the baby is as tall as a grain of rice, and you can watch the heart beating. It's awesome. Most of the ultrasounds stink. You can't really see anything. I'm like, is that his head? They're like, that's his butt, like his dad. But now they have these high-tech ultrasounds called 4D. They can zoom in on your kid's face in color, live 3D videos. They have videos now of kids who appear to be laughing at something in their mother's wombs. And so when we found out we're expecting, we brought other little kids to the doctor's office. And we said, hey, little guys, if you look at that TV screen, you're going to see your baby brother, sister for the very first time. No kidding. Soon as the unborn baby's profile came into focus, this little hand reaches up and it waves back at the screen. And the little kids are like, hi. And the doctor's like, I've never seen that before. And I'm like, yeah, that's my kid. He's pro-life. And